All right, let's talk about one of the most important and honestly, most misunderstood parts of how our brains work, executive function. We're going to break down what it is, why it can feel like such a struggle sometimes, and most importantly, how you can actually train it to work for you. So let's get into it. You know the feeling, right? You've got the to-do list, you've technically got the time, but your brain just feels stuck in mud. You're bouncing from emails to that big project, thinking about what's for dinner, but you're not making any real progress? That feeling? That's what we're talking about today. To really get a handle on this, we need to meet the person in charge. So let's start by getting to know the CEO of your brain. The absolute best way to think about executive function is to picture a CEO running a company, but the company is your brain. It's not just one thing, it's a whole set of mental skills that basically live in your brain's front office, the prefrontal cortex. And their whole job is to manage and coordinate your thoughts and actions so you can actually hit your goals. But simply, it's the part of your brain that helps you get stuff done. And wow, this CEO has a huge job description. We're talking about everything from planning, thinking a few steps ahead, to organization, and that really crucial one, task initiation, which is just the ability to start. It also handles your working memory, that's like your brain's temporary notepad, and emotional control, so you don't fly off the handle when things get stressful. It's a massive job. But what happens when that CEO is totally overwhelmed or distracted or just seems to be out of the office for the day? Well, that's when we run into what people call executive dysfunction. This right here is so critical. When we struggle with these things, it is so easy to blame ourselves, right? To call it laziness or a lack of willpower. But like counselor Tasha Rollins says, this isn't a flaw in your character. It's about how your brain's regulation system is wired. And seeing it that way changes everything. And while we often hear about these challenges with things like ADHD and autism, the truth is anyone can have a day or a week of executive dysfunction. Stress, not enough sleep, anxiety, all of it can throw our brain's CEO off its game. This is a totally human experience, not just something for a diagnosis. So, how do you know when your system is getting overloaded? Well, your brain sends up some warning flares. You might notice yourself rereading the same sentence in an email like 10 times, or you feel this magnetic pull to your phone, that sudden intense boredom, or when a task that was fine a minute ago now feels impossibly huge. Those are your warning signs. Just spotting them is the first step. Okay, but here is the really good news. Executive function isn't some fixed thing you're born with. It's a set of skills. And just like any skill, you can practice it, you can support it, and you can strengthen it. It's not an on-off switch. Think of it more like a muscle that you can actually develop. So let's get into the game plan. It boils down to these three main buckets. First, you regulate. You gotta reset your nervous system. Then you structure. Give your brain a clear blueprint. And finally, you incentivize. Get those reward centers online. Regulate, structure, incentivize. Let's look at how. Step 1, regulate. Look, before you can demand focus from your brain, you have to help it feel calm and safe. This is like a biological reset button. It could be as simple as playing with a fidget toy or just getting up for a quick stretch, even doing a few rounds of deep, patterned breathing. It basically tells your brain, hey, we're okay. You can come back online now. Okay, step 2, structure. This is where you give your brain an external blueprint, so it doesn't have to do all the heavy lifting on its own. Using a visible timer, like with the Pomodoro method, makes time feel real and manageable. Breaking a giant project into tiny little micro steps makes it way less scary, and you can even try things like a focus ritual or body doubling, just working quietly with someone else to create a support system for your brain. And the final piece, step 3, incentivize. This is all about waking up your brain's reward system. You can go for intrinsic motivation. That's connecting a boring task to something you really care about, like, doing this budget helps me save for that vacation. Or you can use extrinsic motivation, the more direct approach. When I finish this awful report, I get to watch my show. Both work. The trick is knowing which one works for you. Now, practicing these skills does not have to be a chore. In fact, one of the most powerful ways to build up your executive function muscles is, and you might not expect this, through board games. Yeah, seriously. Research shows that games are basically natural executive function trainers. They take these really complex skills like strategic thinking and they break them down into these fun, bite-sized pieces. It creates this low-stakes world where you're actually motivated to practice the very things that feel so hard in real life. It's learning through play, and it's brilliant. And the training can be really specific. You take a game like Ticket to Ride that forces you to do long-term planning with very limited resources. Carcassonne is all about organizing a strategy piece by piece. A game like Codenames is a huge workout for your working memory, trying to hold all those clues in your head. There are even games like the Mindfulness Game, literally designed to help you practice emotional control. So we've gone through what executive function is, why it's a struggle, and a bunch of ways to manage and practice it. The last step is to put this all together into a system that actually works for you. So here it is, your personal toolkit. This is your action plan. First, learn your own warning signs. Have a few of those sensory reset tricks ready to go. Use a timer. Break things down. Know what motivates you. And maybe the most important one, give yourself permission to pause without feeling guilty about it. It's not a failure, it's a strategy. I really want to end with this quote. And while it comes from a source that focuses on the autistic experience, the message is universal for anyone who wrestles with this stuff. Your brain might work differently. Your attention might not always be on command, but it is not broken, and neither are you. The whole point is to work with your brain, not against it. So, my question for you is this. After all that, what is the one small, simple tool you're going to add to your own toolkit starting today? A visible timer, a movement break, or just giving yourself permission to take a pause? Pick one. Start there. Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.